All right, so now, okay, almost forgot something. So basically, we can also look at, since we looked at the descriptive statistics in the qualitative aspect, now let's look at it in the, maybe the quantitative aspect. There is, let me see this first. Okay, so basically you can also do some quantitative descriptive statistics. So first and foremost, let's import some quantitative data in Stevanialysis just to see what happens. Okay, so we have that quantitative data, and we are not going to run a regression. We have already done that. So let us generate some descriptive statistics, and you can see automatically that is generated, and you can easily just copy this table if you like. You can also do some graphing just to show how the data is moving. So basically you can see that this data has been graphed. Let me change this to maybe line. Yeah, so that we have a look at that. Okay, so but what is important in this tool is we can check for whether this particular data has got an outlier or not. So detect, and then it says detected 2 outliers in column GDP growth. Okay, so now let's have a look at that. Okay, so here's the distribution of GDP, and we can clearly see that these red points indicate the outliers that have been detected in GDP. Then what you can do after that, you can apply some remedies based on that. Okay. So we can also check for maybe external debt detected zero outliers. So maybe let's check for this one, 0 outliers. This one has 3 outliers, so exchange rate has 3 outliers. Let's see. So you see the distribution of exchange rate is there, and we can see 3 outliers. So you may want to drop these outliers or not, depending on what you want in the data, because outliers tend to deceive people. Okay, for example, let's assume these anyway, it's exchange rate. So if the exchange rate, we have outliers in the exchange rate data, then we are likely to be deceived when we take the average of this particular variable to kind of look at what kind of exchange rate have we been having on average. So the average will be exaggerated due to effects from the outliers. But mostly outliers are very critical when it comes to things like maybe you're looking at house prices, and then we have some outliers in the data, then you are going to deceive people. Maybe the outlier is very high, so you're going to deceive people that maybe the average house price is maybe a 3 million, yet maybe the average house price is just maybe in 1 million. So that is very important for decision making, and you don't want outliers to be part of your data most of the time. So yeah, so that is one aspect of this this tool. So now let's move on to so you can also do some advanced cleaning processing for quantitative data. So you can remove some script and style removal. You can remove numeric data extraction. You can perform white space streaming. You can encode or normalize the data. You character replacement as well, and standardization, data type conversion, missing value identification, missing value imputation, and duplicate record removal. So yeah, you can perform all those here you can also drop missing variables or missing data. You can also drop columns with missing data. So yeah, so this is also a cleaning tool that you can use for quantitative data. Okay, then let us go to now other things in Stevanialysis that distinguish it. Okay, so literature review analysis manager. Okay, so this interface allows users to basically add topics, but it is meant to allow users to analyze their literature that they have reviewed. So like I mentioned, Stevanialysis also has a library where you can add papers that you are going to use for your project, or books or other sources of information. And then for each of those papers, research topics that you were analyzing, you can basically come in the literature review analysis manager and add those topics individually in this platform. So for example, then after you do that, you can now perform some network analysis based on the literature that you have reviewed. So this is something that we always do in practice when we are doing research. For example, we usually create a table in the literature review. We do review studies from the global perspective, African perspective, and the local perspective. It could be Zambia in my case. So we also create tables such as maybe the table can have a column for author. The table can also have a column for maybe research topic. The table can also have a column for research design, research approach, results, conclusions, recommendations, and so on and so forth. So those tables, instead of just doing them manually there, you can come in Stevanialysis using this literature review analysis manager. You add those topics in this database, and then you will be able to analyze. You can export that information as in Excel, and then create a table that you can put in your literature review document. But more importantly, you can also do some network analysis, which I'm going to demonstrate. And these are things that you can't do in other statistical software packages. Okay, so let's, for example, add a research topic, and we're going to call this maybe the impact of ATMs on economic growth. Okay, so the impact of ATMs on economic growth in Zambia. All right, so we add, that's a research topic. Keywords, we say let's say economic growth, okay, so we need to separate them with commas. And we can also add maybe banks. We can also add commercial. We can also add maybe sales. We can also add transactions. So these are just keywords for your study. So I'm just randomizing this because we're doing an example here. So let's go with that. Then category, we can say, since it's the impact of ATMs on economic growth, let's just say this is an economics topic. So economics. Okay, then the author, let's say the author is Fitzgerald. Okay. Then year of publication, let's say 2025. Enter name of the country. Okay, so Zambia. Variables used, so we have ATM transactions. Let's say ATM transactions. So we are going to measure ATM by ATM transactions. Number number of ATMs, economic growth, maybe mobile money transactions as an alternative to ATM transactions, and maybe what else? Maybe digital banking transactions. Okay, so then we add that. Then let's say enter type of research design. So let's say this is a longitudinal research design or time series. Okay. Enter type of research approach used. So let's say this is quantitative. Okay, data collection instrument, we use the internet. Okay, that is secondary data. So the data collection instrument is the internet, basically. I think that's enough. Enter targeted population in the study. So basically, let's say macroeconomic variables, economic variables, and banking, macroeconomic variables, and financial variables. Okay. Enter sampling technique used in the study, random. Okay. Enter the sample size. Okay, let's say this study just has 30 observations. Enter list of data analysis techniques used. Let's say regression analysis. Results obtained, let's say ATM transactions have a positive impact on economic growth. Okay. Recommendations, invest in ATM. Okay, so research philosophy, positivism. Yeah. Okay, so you notice that, okay, that's a long process, but I mean, for those who love academics and the idea of putting things in a more organized form, would love that process. So yeah, this is what we have, and what we can do is that you can add some more information about the research design. So the research design is just like the research methodology of the study, and yeah, you can add those components. So but here you can view details about the topic which you entered here. So you can see it's the impact of ATMs on economic growth in Zambia. Those are the keywords, category economics, authors Fitzgerald, Whitaker, and we have the publication year of that, and it was done in Zambia, and those are the variables that were used, of course, and yeah, we have almost all the information about this study. So now, why is so you find that you can include a lot of different studies here, and after you do that, you can do some network analysis using this section. Okay, so now the thing is that you can also save your topics that you have added. So you can add the research design here. When you click on that, you can add the research design. You can upload an image, you can attach files like PDF documents or Word documents. That's up to you. but here you can type what this study was about. Like for example, you can just add even just an abstract if you like. That's up to you. So because this might take a lot of time, and yeah, we'll do these things in other sessions. For now, let me since we have seen what we do here, let's just open a saved file that I already created. So let me unfortunately I've clicked on adding a new topic. So when you add a new topic, it brings all these options. Okay, so let me say load collection from local. Then I'll go to this, and then I have to look for the I don't remember what I saved it as. Let me try to go here and literature review manager. I think this will work. So I've opened the one I saved, categories detected and updated in filter. Okay, so you see these are the topics that I just added for example purposes or demonstration purposes. So you see there are categories. You can choose categories finance. There is only one topic here. And of course, I mentioned about the research design, which you can view. So here I just added an abstract. Okay. Then you can view all the categories as usual. You can check that's the research design. I'm not very sure if I added. Okay, they are there. Those are the topic details. And let's see. Okay, we also have topic details there. So yeah, each of these. Then what next? So we can do some analysis here. We come to this section, and we may want to look at these three studies. What is common about these three studies? So we can say generate common words network. And there we have it. So Stevanialysis now automatically analyzes each of those topics based on the information that you put in those topics, and will show you which information in those topics seems to be related, right? So you'll notice that based on these three topics that we have selected and information pertaining to them, we are able to see that both of these topics, they talk about markets. Both of these topics, they talk about, of course, these other words like and, which are not that important. So there are certain words you may be looking for. So they also talk about econometric, meaning probably they talked about using econometric methods. They talk about GDP, they talk about prices. So you can easily have an idea of what you are likely to find in these three studies. And you can use this approach to actually identify literature gaps. Okay, so based on the things that you can see as things that you find in these documents or the literature that you have, you can be able to think or look at what is missing, what have these studies not talked about, just by looking at this atomic structure of the data. Now you can also add other studies and see what's also common about them. So generate. So you see it has grown a little bit much bigger, and we can see more information there. But as you can see, this info, so the regression, so meaning that these studies, they use the regression, most of these studies. Okay, and these studies looks like most of them were done in Zambia. So yeah, now the other thing that we want to maybe analyze is maybe you're just looking for a specific word that describes an aspect that you are trying to investigate, whether these particular papers or studies that you or topics that you have included have them. So let's say we say common word filter network. We go to that. And then based on those selected studies, let's say which ones talk about growth. Generate. So you can see that these are the studies or topics that talked about growth. So impact of inflation on economic growth. There is also impact of money supply on unemployment rate. There is also the impact of taxation. So these are the studies based on the literature that you have that talked about growth. Okay, so remember that we have, I think, about 5 of them. Let me say common needs, common words, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 6, and only 4 talk about growth. Okay, so we can also view the word frequency statistics, and you can see these are the studies that talk about growth. So you see that this first topic talks about growth 11 times. So in other words, the word growth appears 11 times in this particular topic. For money supply and unemployment rate, it only talks about this once. And for inflation and economic growth, 6 times. And for impact of taxation on SMEs, 4 times. Okay, so we can close the statistics, and we can do something else, like we can maybe option 3, because there are 3 options. There's option 1 for common words network, option 2 for common word filter. Let's try to see if we add more information. Let's say also finance. Okay, so notice that looks like only one variable talks about finance, and these talk about growth. Okay, so this is a way Stevanialysis, the literature review manager, helps you to analyze a bunch of literature that you have in a more visual, interactive manner. So in this regard, this has been separated from these because it has got the property of finance, and these only talk about growth. And maybe let's say also taxes, maybe tax, let's just say tax. Okay, so as you can see, okay, so we have these are the only ones that we have. There is also this one about taxation. Okay, so maybe let's just narrow it down to that and see what happens. So there are no matching topics with that. Okay, so let's say tax, nothing. So they in other words, of course, one topic talks about taxation, but the idea of these two is to match one study to another based on a bunch of studies that you have in the literature review library. So because there is only one study that talks about taxes, it means that there are no matches that can be shown. Okay, so if we view the word frequency, we can see that tax is only explained by one topic. So that's what I was talking about. Then let's go to option 3. So we go to option 3, and in option 3, we can basically specify details that we're interested in to match. So maybe we want to see how many studies have been done in the same location or country. So we click country, and we say display detail network diagram. There we are. So these studies were done in Zambia, so that is why they are appearing, okay, from the literature that we have. And then maybe let's say list of variables. Let's see if we have no matches. So it seems like they were using different variables. Okay, so let's see research design. It's either they were using different variables or they have not been indicated. So research design type, the ones with the same research design type. So looks like we have these studies that used the same research design type, and we have these that used different research designs. So someone may be interested in finding out which research design did this one use, or which research design did this study use, which research design did this study use that is different from these studies that used the same research design. It could be also research approach. I'm not sure if that will come out. Yes. So looks like these studies used the same research approach, while this study used a different research approach. So this too is very important if you have a lot of literature, okay, and you want to just have a quick visualization of how the information is in that literature. Then you can also analyze which studies used the same sample size and things like that, which studies came up with the same recommendations or came up with the same results. So maybe let's see if that can be generated. So there are no studies that came up with the same results. So yeah, this is what you can use this tool for, and it can really help in analyzing data that is based on the literature that you have entered in the system. And you can save, you can add more topics, you can categorize the topics, you can really change a lot of things, and you can save projects or topic collections within the program. You can do a lot of analysis. So yeah, and the goodness is that when you generate common themes, like for example, I click all of them, and then I say topic detail, then I say display, not the same, let's say same country, then I say display. Okay, you can also show the frequency for these. So you see Zambia, 6 studies. So 6 of these studies actually were done in Zambia. So that is something that you may be interested in seeing, and you can also export this in PNG format, and then you can put it in your Microsoft Office document. So let's say I've exported it, and we open our Microsoft Office, and let's see if we can yeah, here it is. So there we have it, and maybe you can explain something there. It's up to you, and yeah, that's what it is. So this is not something that you can do. So this will make a lot of sense if you have a lot of literature, okay, and you want to understand how the literature is connected. So let us close this and go back to Stevanialysis, and let's go to something else.